Perfect timing. My phone just decided to kick in full volume on a random video as we went live.
I thought that was like a intro, in part of the intro as well. There sounded very like
Bit of
computer.
techno music kicking in. Sadly, not. No.
I've had
And
my phone on loud for the first time in a long time, and I forgot that my ringtone's Danger Zone, and I'm loving it.
Danger Zone, amazing. Bit of Kenny Loggins.
Oh yeah,
Kenny Loggins, it is, isn't
that's
there?
right. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
K log.
yeah. The old K log. So, yeah, not a great opening. My dog's snoring. The volume kicked in on my phone for no reason. Started playing a random video, and Ash still hasn't turned our alarm clock down, the bastard. But other than that, how are you doing?
Me or chat? I'm good.
We'll start with you.
Yeah, I'm the one here. Yes, I'm pretty good, pretty chill. Happy to be here. Thanks very much for having me.
I gotta have you. You're now the official co-host. It appears.
Official.
You're here every
I'll
week.
happily go with unofficial co-host and just still be here every week.
Yeah, okay, gives you a good excuse then in case you need to drop out one week
Exactly.
as
I don't have to
well.
feel bad about it.
Yeah, we'll give a shout out to Chas whilst we're here as well. We're joined by Boba Fett Gaming, who is pretty badass at Halo. If you ever get online on community game night, and he's put on here that he's met a local that would destroy us both, probably even blindfolded in Halo multiplayer, which is a scary thought because Bob was really good as well. Fimber, he's here waiting. Wait no more, we're live. And Muppet, my fellow beautiful ginger man, has joined us as well. Although he did overcook his steak tonight, apparently, even though he looked very raw to some people. But, you know, us gingers were a different breed. So I know we talked about it a little bit before we get started. So let's jump straight into what I think is the most important topic this week, and a game that has been getting reviews mixed all over the place, and sending fanboys into a frenzy. It's not Horizon Forbidden West. It's Crossfire X.
Crossfire X. Yeah, in fact, Finbar, I was commenting on one of his tweets earlier of just defending it. I feel the need. I saw IGN's giving it like a 2 out of 10 or something.
Yeah.
That's insane to me. Like, I was talking to you about the campaign and where I am, and you reckon I'm quite close to the end anyway.
You are?
So,
Yeah, it's
which
very
is
short.
disappointing because I didn't, like I thought I was probably at like chapter 2 or 3 out of maybe 10. So, knowing it's short is, that might change it a bit, but I'm loving the campaign.
If it helps, the last chapter is about 2 minutes long. You literally run through a couple of rooms in a corridor.
That's all I want from a last chapter. Totally.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just there to give a cinematic. But no, I think it's really good. Like I say, knowing I'm near the end is a bit of a disappointment because of like I would happily carry on playing this for another sort of 6 hours, I suppose.
Yeah.
But yeah, where it came out and had a terrible, buggy release has soured a lot of people on it, and I do think people should give this campaign a go because of it's beautiful. So much detail, like the amount of like posters of like lost, found, and just all this kind of crap around it doesn't have any need to be there. Like there's way more detail than a game like this requires, but I quite like that. I'm a little annoyed that they've put collectibles in it only because I am now not like progressing with the game because I'll stop and try and find the toys and the collectibles around the place. But yeah, no, the mystery of whatever this catalyst is, it's got me wanting to keep playing. Like it feels good. Yeah, it's good.
It's collectibles that link to no achievements because there's no achievements in the campaign at all. Nope, zero. Well. So unless you play that multiplayer, you get 0 achievements. Although I will say, if you turn multiplayer on and you shoot and kill one person, you unlock 3 achievements. So I mean, there, that's a winner.
I did the multiplayer when it didn't have the campaign, just because I'd spent all that time installing it. I thought I might as well. I mean, it was like I only played one mission, so apparently there is only one map or something like that. So
for modern style where you can aim down your sights, there's one. But if you go classic, which is, it says it's like Counter-Strike, it's not like Counter-Strike because Counter-Strike was a fantastic game I used to play on the OG Xbox all the time. So I know what that should feel like on a controller. And this isn't that. Like it just, no, I can't get it to match up. And then like people don't die fast enough. And also people have unlocked guns, so they're running around with mini guns. And I've got like this bog standard assault rifle. I'm just getting, they literally stood outside the spawn point, shooting in and just murdering you as soon as you try to leave the room.
So I did wonder if there's, when it starts up, you get to pick some kind of boosts for yourself. Like I think I picked just like extra power, but like do some people just have more tankiness? Because like I swear I was loading so many shells into some people and they
Yeah.
weren't doing anything, and I was like, you should be dead. Has this already been hacked? Like, are we already experiencing hackers or something?
But
But
look, it's only Xbox as well, isn't it? It's not even
yeah,
PC, this one.
as
So
far as
it's
I'm aware, yeah. So like
yeah.
they would have had a good job. So maybe I'm just bad, or they were tougher than they looked. But yeah, I swear I loaded so many shells into people and was getting nothing.
Well, I know Fimba's in chat, so we'll get his opinion on Crossfire X. As someone who's finished it, right? It's a 2 hour campaign. You've got to buy the second one for like I think it's £7.19 or something with Game Pass discount. And I am tempted to jump into it because the first hour of Crossfire X is awful. I spent probably 20 odd minutes of that trying to get the controller to feel correct. And something I said to you is in the multiplayer, it's the slowest turning game in the world on Classic. And then you jump in the campaign, and my God, it is so sensitive. It just flies everywhere, everywhere it's looking. You manage to get a feeling just right on the vertical and horizontal axis. Well, never quite right, but close to what you would feel is acceptable. But the problem is neither of those sliders change the diagonal speed, and the diagonal speed is like snail's pace. So I found myself trying to like I must instinctively, more than I realize, look diagonally in shooters quite a lot because no matter what I did, I'd be like this, and then I'd go back to horizontal and vertical. So little tip: if you're playing the campaign and somebody's just by there, you want to shoot, don't go straight to them. Straight line isn't the fastest in this instance. Go up and across, or across then up. Easiest way to do it. I thought the first hour of the campaign, graphically, there was bits that were okay, but it just looked a bit dated. The game was like really cheesy, the dialogue and everything, apart from
Oh yeah.
the dream scenes, and just it wasn't great. But then the second half of the 1 hour campaign, without ruining it for people, it's like this is when they brought Remedy on board and said, do you want to have a go at making a campaign for us? Because it's got a few good set pieces. The mechanic where you switch between people suddenly makes sense. And the cutscenes, the storyline, and those dream sequences just dial up to 11. And it's like you're playing a Remedy game like Control or Alan Wake or something. And it's excellent. That's why I'm tempted to buy the second one. But what I don't want is a first hour of the second campaign like I had for the first hour of this one. So I'm really torn on it. But that last hour is a really good game. And it
So I
looks
really didn't
beautiful.
find the first hour that bad. Like the very first mission when you dropped into the hotel and it was just like kind of waves of people. But then, as soon as you're kind of on the street and you've got the sniper guy, watching you, and I don't know, I found that kind of okay. Though I
Yeah.
did find like bits where you're kind of trying to sneak up. There is no sneaking really. You get spotted so much, and it's just okay. Well, I'm in a gunfight now. So
Yeah.
but no, when you mention the Remedy stuff, like I'm loving the dream bits. I'm loving the fact like you look up and like the floor is on the ceiling and all this kind of stuff. It does feel very Control. So does it? Spoilers a little bit, I'm sure, but like, does it get kind of wild and like, is there any
Yes.
sort of supernatural twists to it?
No supernatural twists, but if you like how occasionally the corridor gets longer and stuff like that
Yeah.
happens and thing,
Oh, is this
it
because you're all
dials out.
drugged up? I take it.
Oh, it dials it up to 11. It's
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah, it really, really goes next level with that bit, and yeah,
Big fan of any of those kind of games. They did it in like Sunken City or something like that, where just the corridor keeps going and then you have to keep charging as it extends. Big fan. So
I think was it Batman Arkham Asylum, the one where Scarecrow has drugged you, and you're
yeah,
walking down the corridor and it starts like raining, and then the corridor every time the lightning flashes slowly disappears, and you're back in the alley watching your parents get murdered as a child as you progress down the corridor. That was fantastic. That's one of the best implementations of that, where it's just a corridor and then it just zooms out and changes progressively over time.
they kind of like take the piss, like Yahtzee and stuff will mock this thing. Am I still here?
Yeah,
Oh,
you're
hello.
just a little frozen. That's all. It's okay.
Okay, but yeah, they'll kind of mock it a little bit. But anytime there's a game where you walk through a door and then you turn around and the door's gone, and then you turn back around again, and like what was a blank wall is now a corridor. I love that shit. Like I can't get
Yeah,
enough of it.
yeah. Well, I've just been a game that did that well, considering that they don't do much well. Bless it, was Call of Duty Cold War. I don't know if you've played the campaign on that, because the multiplayer was pretty poor. But the last 2-3 missions in that game are fantastic, and it has a lot of the same where it's got these red doors that keep dropping in, and different doors do different things, and the narration changes depending on whether you refuse to walk through the doors or not.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
cool. Very, very cool, actually. Do you know what? It shocked me. Like, I remember when I was running the Gamer Manifesto pod before, we had like the what's it called, the Robo Cup at the end to like battle games off, and someone picked a Call of Duty game. To my mind, Call of Duty was always just this like multiplayer experience, and there was like a token campaign just added on for the sake of it. But like the way they described Black Ops to me
Yeah.
actually made it sound like a good game. Like there was a lot to it. Like
Yeah, people really like the campaign on Black Ops. Yeah.
Yeah, so I might have to rethink how I've been judging these. I mean, hopefully they should be all coming to Game Pass at some point, so it would be a nice opportunity to dive into that back catalogue.
Yeah, I hear the campaign for Vanguard is pretty bad, so I'm not gonna rush out to try that one. But Cold War, if people haven't played it, it looks really good on Series X as well. Apart from the hair, they really can't nail the hair on character models. I don't know why, because the rest of the game looks pretty good. And then those last few levels take it up to another level. They're really, really well implemented, I think. You mentioned about games where there's like corridors, and you go through a door and the world changes, and portals. I've just been playing. I've nearly finished it now, and I'm overdue doing a review on it. But it's my favorite game I've played this year. It's called Summertime Madness. It's an indie game published by Sometimes You.
Okay.
And yeah, it's really good, really good.
Summertime Madness.
Yeah, it's a little puzzle game, first person, but it has this weird level. You know that if you watch Squid Game where they go through that corridor, it's like a Salvador Dali painting with his stairs going up, stairs going down, and it's all confusing. It's the one level is a maze where you're in that, but then at the bottom of some stairwells, it's a portal that takes you to different parts of the level, and it's quite hard to explain because the game is really trippy, and it's got these huge, massive areas to transform with a touch of a button and stuff, and it's for a little indie game is really impressive.
I have to have a look. Is it on Xbox? I'm on the website now, but okay, cool. Yeah, I'll try and pick that up. The one I kind of remember most from it is the Batman, then I think it's Sunken City, the one where it's like a Cthulhu game. But also Layers of Fear was the sort of one I kind of first played, and it had that, and I was just so like wowed by everything. And I've not got over it. I still love it. Anytime I turn around and the thing's different, I'm like, oh my god.
Redders has just joined us as well in chat. No masturbators. Well, this is disappointing. Yeah, none this week. Just these wankers who got on screen. That's it. And also, he has played Crossfire X, but I don't think he's played the campaign. He's played the multiplayer, and he isn't as gushing about it as we are. So I think he was one of the ones who got on early, only played multiplayer, and had a really bad experience with it. So
to be honest, going on to games now, and with their buggy state in the first few days, like I'd download it and just wait a couple of days. Really, it'd be the smarter way to kind of play these things.
Yeah. I think a lot of games are just did launch and broke. It's modern gaming. Just get them out as soon as you can. And then...
It's a bit of a shame. Well, definitely a massive shame, actually. Do you know what? I recently picked up a Nintendo Switch, and I've been kind of playing on that. And so today I've been playing like Mario Bowser's Fury, and like it's really polished. And those games don't have any updates. When I put the thing in, it's already on there, and I just feel like there's like because they're putting it onto chips. They're probably putting in quite a lot of quality assurance testing before committing it to release.
The only game recently that's been like a real, one of the first party game for one of the big ones, or a big anticipated game that's launched in a good state, was Psychonauts 2. And that did have a patch added later to add more accessibility options, but nothing to actually sort out the core gameplay, because it worked. You could play the game through and not have any bugs or crashes. An unheard of concept these days.
It really is, yeah. And it's a shame. No, that was a great game, to be honest. That would have been like game of the year had it not been for Forgotten City.
I think Death's Door I voted for my favorite when we did we did a poll over on the XBL Party Podcast channel.
I liked Death's Door, but I mean, did you complete it?
Oh, which one? Sorry, Death's Door.
Death's
Yeah, I
Door,
completed
yeah.
it. Yeah,
I got to the
fantastic game.
Yeti, and I'm kind of then I don't like dying too many times to the same thing. So
You've got to keep moving with our Yeti. You cannot stand still for a second.
yeah. Redders. I mean, Crossfire X. Give the campaign a go. Honestly, it is a good. Like, I've really enjoyed the campaign. I'm just shattered to know it's not very long. Like, I'm almost done. Apparently, kind of makes me want to just finish it tonight. Like,
and with Redders in terms of the multiplayer, I've only tried the classic mode so far, but I did play the beta when it came out, and I really didn't rate the game then, so I wasn't expecting much from the multiplayer going in. But if you can get your sensitivity right in the options for the campaign, it is a good campaign to blast through, especially the second half of it. I will say though, it has two modes: 60 FPS mode or 30 FPS ray tracing. That 30 FPS ray traced must run at like 15, 20 FPS and have the most motion blur. Even though you can turn it off in the options, you can turn off grain and motion blur, which I have. It makes me feel sick playing on it. And I've recorded, because it does it on the fly as well. You don't have to restart the game. And I've recorded a few clips ready for my review of it in motion. And I think it's because I've been playing Halo so much at 120 FPS and some other games like Ori and that rate. I don't know if you get used to it because you can't see a huge difference. But then when you try to step down to 60, it's like, oh, something's off. Trying to play at 30 FPS or when it's dropping below 30, it makes me feel sick now.
so you're taking a risk every time you're playing 120 FPS on the game because of everything else isn't gonna, or not many games are gonna reach that. So you're gonna make everything else look like shit by comparison.
I now understand those PC Master Race 120 FPS people because I've experienced it enough now this gen, and I'm like, no, I'm with you. You can't go back to 30. 30 is an abomination.
No, I play everything in performance mode when given the option. It does just make it look better to me. Like Forza Horizon 5 or whatever just came out. Like I switched that from I started off in high quality, and then after like getting down the end of that first mountain, I was like, no, changing this. Just because even slightly turning when you're doing like a donut, you notice it so much.
I remember Digital Foundry reviewing Forza Horizon 5, and they kept saying how good it looked in 30 FPS and the motion blur makes it playable. And they lied. They really did, because the motion blur, I hate motion blur in games anyway. I like to have things looking crisp. What's the point in having 120 FPS if when you're turning it blurs and you can't see the clarity and what have you anyway? Like it seems a bit of a waste.
I'm never sure why that's always the default option as well. I always have to go and turn off motion blur and film grain. It took me a while to realize what these were. I was like, are these adding to the experience? I think it was when I was playing Jedi Fallen Order, I first kind of decided to really look into what these kind of settings were doing, and I can't figure out what the benefit is. I thought like film grain was to make it look more like the original Star Wars or something, but like,
yeah, the first one I remember was Mass Effect, the very first one with film grain. And I was playing it, and I was like, why does this look like shit? Because these, the 360 is meant to be a HD console, but nothing looks clear. There's nothing crisp. And then I went into the options and turned it off, and I was like, right now it looks like an actual game as opposed to just some weird, sketchy, wobbly thing going all over the screen.
Can anyone answer that? Like, why they use it? Like, what is the actual reason?
To make it look
does it help with anything?
Cinematic, I guess. I know they add motion blur because it helps give a sense of speed, apparently. Halo does that stupid thing with the wind lines when you run in. There's white lines on the screen, and I've turned mine off. But every time I restart the game, it doesn't remember that I've turned it off. So the box isn't ticked, so it should be off, but it turns back on. And I forget, just like the game. So every time I start a multiplayer game, I have to stop for a second, go into the menus, turn it back on, and then turn it off again for it to kick in. And it's very annoying. First world problems.
Yeah, just seeing in the chat there, talking about Cyberpunk for Game Pass. What do you reckon? Likely?
It's got that 5-hour trial now, hasn't it? So I'm tempted
to
jump in and give it a go. And then it's cheap enough now. You could probably walk into a game or something and get it pre-owned for a couple of quid. So,
well, yeah, I've been kind of hoping to get it below the 20 mark on digital. I don't really want to have another disc around, but like, it's 25 at the moment, and I understand it's like much improved or not buggy anymore. And like my partner played it when it first came out and was fine. Like on a PlayStation 4, the one with it was the PlayStation 4 original, but had a SD card switched out for the main one.
Okay.
And it worked. It was some bugs, but it kind of worked fine, and they really liked it. But yeah, I don't know. I've still not completed The Witcher 3 yet, so I don't know if diving into Cyberpunk's really going to be for me.
I've never played The Witcher. I like the TV series. Never played the game.
You don't like RPGs in general, or?
Oh, I love them. I loved it. Elder Scrolls Oblivion is one of my favorite games. I didn't get on with Skyrim. I thought Skyrim was a poor man's Oblivion, and I'll stand by that to the end.
Yeah, I'll kind of agree with that.
Yeah, and then no, I don't know. I just never tried it. I know it's really highly rated. My brother gave me the Game of the Year edition, and Dying Light on physical because he'd bought a Series S. So he couldn't play them anymore. And I've got them both and never installed them, never put them in my Xbox. I think I was talking about this on Tuesday's show, actually. The only physical game that has gone into my Series X is Balan Wonderland.
Oh, bad. Oh, you've cursed your console with that, surely.
Do you know what? She loves it. My two daughters cry and laughing playing it. They think it's the funniest game and the most it's for them. It's like they're watching the weirdest Disney movie ever, and then you do stuff that is just really bizarre and funny, and they're just laughing their head off. They think it's the best. Whereas trying to play it as an adult, it is a pretty bad game. So
yeah, I tried because I was quite hyped for it on the trailers because of just the design looked really cool to me. I liked that dude with his hat and stuff. But I tried the demo. I couldn't play the demo. Like I got to the end of the first level, and I think, and this may be a thing, and maybe kids don't get as annoyed by this as like my old ass self. But like the way the world kind of moved as you ran through it just really gave me not like a headache, but just pissed me off to look at.
It's like you're inside a weird ball that slowly envelops in front of you as you move.
Yeah,
it gives you motion. It gives me motion sickness trying to play it when they couldn't do bits. Yeah, kids. So yeah, that's
what put me right off it. But yeah, maybe they can. Like it's always that thing. Like I think a lot of new movies have like these big scenes, and I don't particularly get on with them because there's too much on screen at once. And that is when I feel my oldest, because I realize that's how previous generation didn't like our films because they kept doing time jumps and back and forth between things and couldn't follow it, and I can't follow too much on screen at once in the Avengers or the latest Star Wars. So yeah, maybe their minds can just cope with it better than mine.
So with the Marvel movies, I remember the Winter Soldier where they have that fight and he gets the knife and he tries to stab him and flips it and thing, and it's an amazing scene. And then I remember the Civil War where they're punching people and they're actually hitting them like a superhero would, and they're sending them flying across stairwells and into concrete walls like normal people. Every movie after that, whenever there's a fight scene in a Marvel movie, the camera's doing this. You don't actually see any of the hits or what's actually going on. You just see, there's people fighting and it's jumping all over the place. And I'm the same. I'm watching them now and I'm like, I can't see what's going on. And if anything, I feel a bit weird. It makes me feel weird because whereas before they would fix the camera, you'd see people fighting and they'd hit people flying. Now they're like, oh, there's a punch, so I need to move with it. And just, it blurs everything and you can't see it. And it's like they bring in motion blur to movies.
And I'm happy to just accept that this is me getting old and kids love it because of it probably is the case, but I'm still going to moan and say it's terrible now and it used to be better. Just checking the thing, talking about Witcher 3 being on Game Pass. It was indeed, but it also costs like a tenner at best. Like you can always pick that up for barely any money.
Reddit is saying that Playground Games have just picked up an excellent Lionhead developer to work on Fable.
That's fine. That's good.
Muppet says he would love to join at some point, but he has a terrible wanking habit. So
yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, unfortunately,
So just remind me at the start of this chat, someone was talking about Fable as the potential Xbox
Fable collection.
Yeah. Like, I guess, I mean, if they improve him, I'd say cool. But other than that, like, they're already on Game Pass as they are, and they're already improved with HDR and stuff. So, like,
I think it was Fimba who mentioned it, actually. I wouldn't mind seeing a nice Fable remake where they actually put them in a modern engine. Because these ones, they just touch it up. Because I remember Fable 3, I think it is, where your character just, when you move, there's just like silhouettes of you as you're moving around and stuff. And it's kind of, it did it in the earlier games, but I think when they were really pushing it for the third one and trying to push that engine, it just, it really struggled. I didn't like the third one as much, but that's the one that had the co-op, wasn't it, where you could play?
Yeah, you could get someone, and it was like tethered to you, but you could
you couldn't leave the screen. It was very bizarre, but yeah. I remember playing a lot of that because I had a missus at the time who was very into it. She wasn't into many games, but Fable grabbed her, so I had to play that, and that made me feel sick trying to do co-op on that.
Okay, Game Pass changed to a Fable one, and this Fable's already out. What did you do to Platinum Games Redders?
Oh, it doesn't take much. If you tweet them in English, they block you.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, no, I just remembered what Redders did.
Yeah. Not just him. A few people have done it. He calls anyone who doesn't speak Japanese insects.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
What do you think about the whole revival of Scalebound potential?
They seem to really fuck it up the first time, so let them have another go. Why not? But if I was Xbox, I wouldn't be giving him any money.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. Like,
or leaving him in charge. It'd be, I'll do Scalebound, but I'm buying your studio. So, yeah.
That's fine. I'd be fine with Scalebound. I don't know if it is my kind of thing. It's like apparently a multiplayer game or something like that.
Yeah.
I think it would probably work better just as a, give it the old Sony treatment or whatever. But
another unpopular opinion. I played Monster Hunter once. Monster Hunter World, is it the new one? And what a garbage game that is. Just my opinion. I know some people really like it, but fuck me, those cheesy cutscenes, the dialogue, they're awful. It's just awful game. I don't get these games where they become massive and the gameplay on them is absolute just shite. Like they feel awful to play and control. And then you're like, oh yeah, you're fighting these things and then it's like really cheesy dialogue. And I'm like, I just don't get it. I've missed something, obviously.
I'm okay with the cheesy dialogue and I love the weapons and the monster designs. I did try to play Monster Hunter World. I played it for maybe like 3 hours and I hadn't got into the game yet. Like it was still just, I was at the tutorial bit and I just kind of thought, fuck it. Like I've been playing this long enough without getting to fight a monster. I'm supposed to be hunting monsters here. And so far I've just met my cat, my mates, and then been shown a warm-up room. So, but the people I know who have played it play the shit out of that game. So like apparently once you're in, maybe it's good.
So Fimba says that the game Scalebound still has a lot of love in the community, and it does. There's a lot of people still hyped for it. And Muppet just keeps getting better because he didn't like Skyrim either. So more good taste from Muppet there.
Look, all these people saying they don't like Skyrim, but everyone keeps buying it apparently. So
yeah, it's madness. This is like it must have like some really dedicated fans who just kept buying it again and again.
I'm a Fallout fan. I'm also an Oblivion fan. I don't mind Skyrim. I've never completed it, and I don't think I ever will.
No.
But I think Oblivion was the right length of a game.
I think Oblivion just
unwieldy.
Oblivion blew me away. It was like on the 360, wasn't it? And it's just at the time there was nothing close to it in terms of like just scale of a game of when you come out and stuff. And then like the graphics with that, it was great.
Yeah, Riku there. However, poor dialogue aside, that game just took so long to actually get into, assuming we're talking about Monster Hunter World anyway.
Yeah, I did play. I played and enjoyed Space Station 5 on the Dreamcast, so I'm averse to some poor dialogue and cheesy acting and terrible gameplay. But that game, I love it, and that game is a classic. So, and as Redders will tell you, I play a lot of shit games, as he would call them. I play a lot of indies, and he doesn't rate a lot of what I play. So,
was it yourself or Ash? I watched someone do a review the other day of like a real basic looking game.
It's one of us, yeah.
I just can't remember who. I was watching one of them, but
we play a lot of.
There was like no recommendation for it at all at the end, and I was like, "Why did you even try and play this? It looks like hot garbage."
Yeah, you'd be surprised. Some of them are really fun. Some of them look bad, but you play them and you're like, "This is a pretty good game." I think Redders nails it there. Ash will review anything, and that is true. Any game he gets sent, he will sit there and review it. So Yeah, time means nothing to that man. No game is a waste. He will review it and he will tell you how bad it was and why he spent 40 hours on it afterwards.
To be honest, I've been tempted to start doing like the video reviews like you guys do on your channel, and just do literally everything that comes out on Game Pass.
Yeah.
Do the whole like 1 hour, one decision podcast. They just like play it for an hour and then make their minds up, kind of like a review system like that. But it's a lot of work in it.
So I can see here that Reddit says the best Ash has reviewed Shower with Your Dad Simulator. Genuinely, I know that Ash has played that, and there's the one about the baby blender game that recently is on the
where you
Xbox
chase
preview.
your like you have to chase a baby around. That
Yeah,
one.
and I know for a fact he's played that as well. So Reddit isn't far off. He has played these games. Whether he put a review up on the channel or not, I'd have to check. But he's definitely played for them.
That one where you're playing as the dad chasing the baby. I did watch the guys outside Xbox playing it.
Yeah,
And it does look like a lot of fun to play. That's different to how Showering with Your Dad Simulator, which is the most fucked up game I've heard about. Just from concept, anyway.
Fimber disagrees. He says it's a great game.
Yeah, life is.
And
I'm checking it out.
like a lot of people in chat, he also found little Monster Hunter to be a little confusing and slow. And Muppets, again, just keeps getting better because he loves Death's Door too. So next he's going to be telling me that Narita Boy was one of the games of the year last year, and then I'm going to have to marry him. So,
what else we got on this week anyway?
ooh, well, you've got to play. You got a PlayStation 5, haven't you? Are you buying Horizon tomorrow?
No. No, not really. Like I say, I've got one in my house. I have access. It is my partner's, but I could be playing that. I've not played Horizon 1 though, and I feel like it'd be weird to jump in at 2.
Yeah,
It's my kind of game. It's like an Ubisoft game, isn't it? It's just a big open world with things you have to go to and whatnot, and I love that. So I think I would get on with it. Just yeah, I've got number 1 to play. I don't really want to spend 60 to 70 quid on a new game at the moment.
No.
When I've got like a massive stack in backlog.
I'm at the same position. I think we were talking about. I was talking about this with some people the other day. The last games I bought was like with my own money was Death's Door and Song of Iron when they come out. So that was way back last year. The latter half of last year, and then I bought Risk of Rain 2 because I had some reward points sat on my account a month ago, which is actually pretty good. Pretty good game, but I don't buy many games anymore. I find myself I've got such a big backlog. I'm trying to get through them. So the 2 Ori games, I'm working my way through them at the moment. I tried the Hitman games and realized that I can't play stealth games anymore, and I just don't get the Hitman games anymore because I got really bored and I murdered a lot of people. I'm not very good at it. Although it does look very pretty, great looking game. Just
I played the first mission, succeeded in it, which has impressed me, but I've not felt any dying urge to go back and play anymore. So
yeah, I'm tempted to go back and do the third one just to see how good that looks because I was doing the earlier ones, which look great because they've gone back and remastered them and what have you. But I want to really do that one in Dubai and stuff and see how good it looks. But that's the thing, I'm only going back to play it to see how good it looks. I'm not really that interested in stealthing my way through and murdering people. Like, it's not gripped me.
So they're really clever. I do love them as like a concept of, you walk around, people are doing their own thing. There's loads of pre-programmed what they do, and there's multiple ways to then try and get yourself into position to kill someone secretly. But what ends up happening is I just fail with that. Like I did do that first Dubai mission, and at one point I found myself in this kind of big open outside area, like within the tower, and then I noticed one of my guys I had to kill was like just on the balcony. I was just like quickly pull gun out, shoot at him. No, I was far enough away from the AIs that they didn't notice. So, but yeah, definitely not how you're supposed to do it, but it worked.
So Fimber says earlier on today he was playing Band of Bugs, and if that's the one I'm thinking of, that's the 360 game. It's a turn-based grid game. Is that the?
It is, and I think it's a game with gold at the moment. And you play
as your
game. Your little avatar, I believe.
Yeah, it came out around the same time as like Kingdom of Keflins and all those. We were utilizing the avatars.
Fimber, does it still use the avatar now? If you're playing it on modern consoles,
Kingdom for Keflins does, so I imagine it does.
Really,
still use it. Yeah,
the updated version of your characters.
It's still the older one from the 360.
Okay.
And we skipped over this from Riku saying Horizon Zero Dawn is great, but long. I only played on my brother-in-law's PS4 for about 20, 30 minutes. He really wasn't enjoying it. I jumped on it for a bit, and I didn't think too much of it, but you can't really judge a game on that. So I have said once I get a PS5, it's on my list of games to blast through. So
It looks great, though. Like,
oh, the new one looks fantastic. Yeah.
yeah, I keep seeing people like talking about the wind, and I agree, it's great. Like just seeing all the trees move to it. But I love the style. So I will try and play it at some point. And the thing that keeps annoying me with it is it makes me feel like Ubisoft should try harder. Because these games are Ubisoft in nature, you know, they are a big map where you're climbing things and like go into different. It is almost exactly an Assassin's Creed game, but you're fighting robot dinosaurs. Why am I not fighting robot dinosaurs in an Assassin's Creed game? Like, move away from being the human stuff. Like, they're already doing kind of wild things with, you know, like things that aren't actually Medusa, but like those bits were quite cool. I'd rather play a game where Ubisoft make their usual engine but make like more interesting shit take place than just hunting down a bishop.
Yeah. Did you try the new Watch Dogs?
Yeah, I didn't mind it. But they have a problem, and this is actually a thing with Ubisoft's servers don't seem to like quick resume.
Yeah.
And like I lost maybe 5 hours worth of my playtime on it, or 10 hours, and it started again because it hadn't been saving, and I then didn't go back.
Yeah, I kind of, again, I was taken in by how beautiful it looked and the ray tracing, and I found myself looking at puddles for no apparent reason. Other than to go, oh, that's cool, look at that. And then once that wears off, I was like, oh, this is really janky. And then a bit longer after that, I was like, I'm not really enjoying this at all. So I'm just gonna quit. And I tried to get my mates into the multiplayer because the multiplayer had a cool concept, and I'm kind of glad we didn't because they've now just abandoned it and dropped all the plans for the future updates they had. So
it does look good, and it also really does capture London, like the locations and stuff, which is quite nice. So if you want to go,
old woman calling you a bloody wanker as you walk past, yeah, fantastic. Just like you're there.
During COVID lockdown, when you can't go anywhere, if you wanted to go and have a walk around London, it was quite nice for that, I suppose.
Yeah.
Finby, talking about Second Extinction, I played that when it was first on there. I believe they probably had a lot of improvements.
Yeah,
it was a bit
I really like it.
But yeah, I enjoyed it, but it was a bit empty. Like there wasn't even that many dinosaurs like for me to kill whilst just going around this open bit. So I'm kind of hoping it's got a bit more in it now. But
yeah, Finber, if you're looking for something fun to play this free, like, you know, it's the Second Extinction is a good game. They keep updating. They've got like a horde mode and stuff now as well. Try Enlisted. Enlisted is a great game. It's a World War II shooter, free to play, but you drop in a squad. So it's quite a large player base anyway, but each player controls a squad of like 7 people. And when
are they all AI people?
AI and you can press a button to switch between them at any point.
Okay.
Or when you die, you switch straight to someone else who's still alive in your squad. And once your squad is wiped out, you choose another one of your squads. You have like, say you're the Axis on this mission, you have like 8 or 9 squads. And then once one squad dies, you've got to choose another squad to drop in, and then another squad. And then after you've done 3 or 4 squads, it replenishes the first squad. So you can thing, but then after each one, you get XP and like things, and you can upgrade each squad, different weapons, and recruit different members to the thing. And yeah, it's really good. So there's like 3 or 4 armies you control, and then you've got like one squad who drops in from the planes, one squad who's can drive tanks and stuff. It's just a really fun little game to jump on and blast people. Yeah, it's good.
It's a bit of a shame that like we always end up just with Battlefield and COD as the kind of shooters when there's kind of more interesting things going on. Not as many people are going to be, it's not getting as much press or as much funding anyway. So
it's a really good looking game as well. Some of the maps on there look fantastic. For like, you know, the game that it is, where it's not, you know, like you said, a big studio who's throwing all their money at it. It must be doing quite well for itself because they're updating it regularly, adding new maps and expanding on it. It's fun. It's a good little game.
Did you play Hell Let Loose at all?
No, but I know people who did and said it was really good, but then they all just seem to drop off it after a month.
Yeah, it looks really cool, and I know it was given away on PlayStation Plus or whatever their monthly thing is, like when it came out. So I kind of assumed it would have taken off a lot more if it was good, but it looked amazing, like graphically anyway. So yeah, no, I want to hear if anyone's played that, see if it's any good.
So Fimber says he's too busy most of the times beating the drums in
I
Taiko.
thought that meant something else when I first started reading that. I thought this was
is that game that was just on Game Pass?
It is. It's one that you can play with bongo drums.
Yeah.
Or just tapping buttons at this, if you don't have that.
All Muppet wants is Slime Rancher 2. Again, I haven't played the first one, but I know Ash reviewed it and raved about the first one. So he tried explaining it to me how you suck up little balls of slime and shoot them at other ones to feed them to make different types.
I played the first one for quite a while until it got hard. Because I was just wanting to relax to something, and it was good for that for a while, but then it kind of got a bit complex and too much going on. Definitely, you think your kids would love it.
And Fimber says, fun fact, I got salty PS fans on my Twitter a few days ago, and I mentioned Sifu is coming to Xbox. It is, yeah, it's a timed exclusive. That's a game I'm really looking forward to. I played the studio's game before it called Absolve the Downfall, which I think is still on Game Pass. And if you've never played it, play through that game. It's fantastic, really good. So it's like a martial arts game where you start off at the bottom of this huge tower-like level, and there's different areas you go to have to beat bosses, and then as you do that, you unlock different bosses, but it's an online world, so there's other people running around who you can fight. And if you're just starting out, you're going to get your ass kicked, or they can help you beat some of the hard bosses early on, and you'll do that, and you've got like emotes you can do to kind of like, emote to each other, I suppose, and then you can change your fight style. And the way the fight style works, if I grab a controller to show you, is this A, B, X, Y to kind of pull off moves. But it depends on where you're facing the enemy and what stance, and you push the right thumbstick in one of 4 directions to change your body stance, and that changes what each button then does to a move that you've assigned. It's such a good game. You end up like getting really confident, where I had back on the thumbstick stance and B, and I could time it perfectly, so I would just throw this roundhouse kick that would absolutely smash people in the face. And if I would come up against other people who wanted to fight, by the time I'd landed that, they didn't have a clue what was going on. And I could just unload into them then. And as soon as my stamina was coming down a bit, they'd almost be dead by the time they'd realize what was happening to them. And yeah, great game, that.
Well, Stifu, I mean, if it comes out and is cheap or something, I might pick it up because they've added an easy mode. So I actually might have a chance. Because at first, there was no chance I would ever play that game.
Yeah.
But I'm liking this trend. Like Metroid Dread has done it. These guys have done it. So yeah, give me an easy mode so I can actually play your damn game, because I'm not good at games.
I don't get why people complain about easy modes. It means more people are going to play and buy it, and you got more chance of getting a sequel if you like it.
Yeah, you can't flex that I've done it and you haven't done if if they put in.
Well, apparently Elden Ring is the easiest Souls game they've made so far, they said. So I wonder how many of these hardcore you shouldn't play easy games if you don't like Souls. So you should, if you like easy games, don't play a Souls game. How many of them are going to skip it?
Yes, Muppet. I did. Like, I'm not saying sorry, you said Slime Rancher was hard or whatever. Yes, Slime Rancher got complex. Right, you had to like manage different types of slimes in different places, and I just didn't have the time to tolerate it. So yes, it was hard. All right, I wanted to relax. I just wanted to look after some slimes.
And yeah, I've actually heard this is a really short game. There's a lot of people finishing it in a few hours, but they're the ones who can kind of run through games without getting hit. So that's fine. I'm not that person.
Also, they are adding it. It's already a sort of thing that they're adding an easy mode. But yeah, like it's like a £25 game, I think. It's not like a full price AAA or anything. So I don't mind a short game for that kind of thing. That said, I'll play if it comes to Game Pass or comes to like a sort of tenner or less.
I imagine it'll be a Game Pass game that it comes out eventually.
That'd be quite a flex for the old tribal warfare. Your exclusive is our free Game Pass fodder.
Of course they won't, because they don't play old games. Remember?
That's the point. Yeah.
Yeah. Although they all play remakes of old games and pay 70 quid for it. That's another story.
Mm.
Oh, I'm not sure what's coming up on Xbox soon. I know a lot of people were hyped for Crossfire in it. Well, it
And
launched in
I'll
that
still
state.
defend and say
so-
it's all right. I'm gonna if I'm gonna complete this campaign, I'm gonna pay £7 for the next one. They've got me. So I genuinely think the campaign's been really good. But a great
Yeah.
video on Eurogamer they've put out of what's coming to Game Pass this year, and there's actually quite a few the indies that are coming out in March. I just can't remember what any of them are. Games coming soon.
I think Muppet raises a good point that 25 quid is about 30 Stellas from Tesco. So, I mean... no, I've got about 20 odd quid in reward points saved up at the moment. So I only started doing the reward points just before Halo came out. I was like, I did them a bit before. My mate was like, "Oh, you can make some decent, thing on there." And I was like, "I'll give it a go. I'll use it to buy the battle pass because I don't really do battle passes and stuff." And since I started, so I'm on a 90 odd day streak, I think at the moment. I've redeemed about £20 worth of vouchers and bought games with 20 quid, including that battle pass, and I got like £3 left. But I've got another 20 quid sat in, waiting to be cashed in. So in the last 3 months, just by playing my Xbox, I've earned like 40 quid, which isn't bad.
Yeah, I've got my streak, whatever. I'm approaching a year.
Mad, isn't
Now
it?
I'm going on holiday in a few weeks' time for like 2.5 weeks, and I'm going to be asking my partner to log onto my Xbox and see if they can do these for me because I just don't want to lose my streak, which feels really sad. But yeah, I've spent easily £100 worth of like Microsoft reward points since I've been doing this, and like you mentioned not buying games much since like backlog on Game Pass. Like since Game Pass came along, I think I've bought way more games than I used to. So it's just made me want to play more games. So like, and also to justify, I can justify buying something because I've not spent on this many other things. So yeah, I'm that Microsoft stat is really working for them. Where having this subscription's actually making me pay them more money.
Yeah. I think they need to find a way that the Xbox app allows you to access the Xbox rewards page.
Definitely.
Because at the moment you can do the rewards and you can do the dailies and tick it over. However, the one on the Xbox rewards where it's like, do so many searches, open the app in 3 days a week, unless you got an Xbox, that's impossible to do. And yeah, like you said, if I go on holiday, I don't want to lose that.
I don't think you can do the remote play. Like I've not figured it out anyway. Like I can cloud game, but I don't know how to do the remote play from my Xbox. I don't think it's possible at the moment.
No, that's what I mean. They need to update their Xbox app so that you get that rewards as that app as it looks on your Xbox on your phone, so that you don't lose that streak if you go on holiday. Because now you've mentioned that I'm going away to Italy in July for a wedding, and I'm probably going to lose my streak. So
yeah, I'm like legitimately tempted to bring like a little Series S with me just so I can plug in. But the other game has come out actually and haven't spoke about Dying Light 2.
Yeah.
Any interests of you?
I'm interested, but I've still got the first one to play through, and I haven't started it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm quite behind.
I bought the first one a few weeks back when it was like $10 on like a sale. And it's really good. I didn't think I would be into it because it's zombies and zombies are scary. But no, like you just kick the shit out of them with pipes. It's great.
Yeah, I really like Dead Island, and from what I hear, this is Dead Island but more polished with parkour. So
yeah, Dead Island is the same people, I believe.
Yeah.
So I never played it, but yeah, this say the parkour's fun. It is like actually kind of hard. Like I'm playing it on a fairly easy mode, but when it comes to nighttime, you do have like the bad zombies, the ones that can actually chase you down, come out. So yeah, it's like worth hiding at night, really. So in that, they seem to be coming more frequently now. The last time I jumped back on it, I had several. I can't remember what they're called. They like the super infected, whatever, who can actually run at you. There was a load of them during the daytime still.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm further into the game and they're ramping it up, but it's really good, really pretty. The combat's fun. It is very swing, like, you know, you feel it when it hits things. I think it does like a little slowdown as it hits.
Yeah,
So
used to do Undying Light. If you decapitated someone or took a limb off, it would slow down. You realised you did it.
I've never played Dying Light 2, but it's not that bad. I'll tell you. So Fimbers was bringing up their State of Decay. Did you play that?
I played the first one. I didn't like the mechanic it had where the game kept playing when you turned it off. So you had to log on regularly, otherwise people would leave your camp because you'd run out of food.
Yeah, that's awful. Yeah.
On the first one, it was like having a Tamagotchi game.
Yeah.
So
That's
yeah,
like one of those phone games that you have to keep checking in on.
yeah, and you had to get to a safe house to turn it off, otherwise your guy would be left out in the wilderness. It was really annoying. But they fixed out the second one, but the second one launched in a broken, buggy state. But I played it. It must be last year. I played it after the Juggernaut edition, and they patched it up and stuff, and it was actually really good. I just want them to do a third one now, and kind of with what they are, but with they're a first party studio now, and they got all this money behind them. I want to see them make something that looks amazing and is a bit more not cinematic, but have an actual story and cutscenes, not just the loose kind of system that it has based around
so
it.
I enjoyed it. I found someone I was playing it with, and they sort of showed me the ropes, and it is fun. Like, it's a very fun game, but it's arcadey. There isn't a particular. There's like kind of environmental storytelling going on, and like the missions you are getting are just from people you meet. But with the trailer for the new one, I want it to look like that the whole time.
Yeah.
I'd happily have a less open world thing if it is a bit more like that. So we'll see how it turns out.
I want to see something. I want to see them, really go for it and show what they can do, because they've made this, it's kind of an indie-looking game, smaller, like not really pushing the boat out with their graphics for 2 games in a row now, just to show a concept. Because it isn't, you can't even say that the world's huge, and that's why they're holding back on the graphics. It's just kind of it's like they have an engine and they're comfortable with it and an idea for a game. But they've never been able to really
got that
go for it.
multiplayer appeal where people kind of while I was playing it, it is a fun game to play. It doesn't need to be particularly more, but the way they've sold this third one with that first cutscene, CGI thing, like I feel like it deserves or should be great. Is it another one of the ones that's been made in Unreal 5 as well?
It is, yeah.
I'm interested to see that. What's coming out in Unreal 5 soon? I can't. There's something.
Hellblade 2. And
something sooner than that, I'm sure, from Xbox, but Unreal 5. Yeah, not too sure. Can't figure out. I'm not gonna try and look too much now, but
so is Starfield, but that's their own engine, isn't it? And what's Redfall running on? Not too sure.
Yeah, me either.
Problem is, Xbox now has a lot of engines in-house, and they still use UE5. And once the Coalition released the new Gears with that, or this other side project they're apparently working on, that's just going to look phenomenal. So.
I hope so. Yeah, I've heard the Coalition. I literally heard it from a tweet, so it might be fucking nothing. But like, doing another game before doing the Gears as like apparently a kind of test run.
Apparently doing a smaller project.
Yeah, to get used to the sort of system, which is good.
I want to see Gears go after Hivebusters, and just how good that was when it was so focused on level to level gunplay and little cutscenes in between. I wouldn't mind seeing Gears launch like Infinite has done, where it's a kind of, this is the campaign, but over this generation we're just going to keep adding smaller chunks, like 2 3-hour playable chunks every 6 months or so. And I think that would be the direction I'd love to see Gears and the Coalition going. So they got one team that's focusing on just putting out regular campaign and content updates, and another team that's focusing on these newer games.
Gears 5 is amazing. Like, I actually love that like story, and it looks great. It looks so good. But yeah, Hivebusters as well, just for that more vibrant. So not enough people haven't played that. It's crazy. Like that mission where you're on the rock as it flows down the lava lake. Like set pieces like that as well just really make it. And I like it. Your big bad, and that is just a giant bird. It's not a monster or anything. It's just a big bird.
Muppets mentioned Scorn. I think Scorn is out November. I think the release date got pushed back too. It looks good. It looks a bit slow, but
that's what I found.
Geiger.
It didn't look very fast paced. There was no music really creating an atmosphere. So it's like it's trying to be an atmospheric horror, but you've got a gun. So like a big gun, like it.
It
It's
is
like
a Geiger inspired
if you're just
looking.
walking around. But it looks cool. It looks gross.
Yeah, that's what I like.
Yeah.
And Atomic Heart. Doom and Wolfenstein. It looks like it's got a bit of Bioshock chucked in as well. It's just a really
Atomic Heart
beautiful
really
looking
cool.
game. And that's Game Pass as well, isn't it? I believe.
Yeah, it is.
The
one for Unreal 5 I was trying to think of though is Stalker. When Stalker 2
Stalker
comes out, that's running in the
Yeah,
Unreal
another one
Engine.
that's
So
got
that'll be
pushed back to
that'll be fun to see. Yeah, to the winter. So big winter for us again.
yeah. There's a lot of games that have been pushed back already this year. I think a lot of people forgot that a lot of games were pushed back last year because it's funny watching some people on Twitter saying, "Oh, you know, PlayStation's put out it's got God of War coming, Forza Horizon, PlayStation is really going for it this year and in the first half of the year as well." And it's like, yeah, because they were all meant to launch early last year and all got pushed back. It's kind of so when Xbox says, you know, Stalker, it was going to have Stalker, it was going to have Scorn, it was going to have what was the other one? Redfall. They were saying was going to be May time roughly, and I think that's been pushed back now.
I think that's still summertime, but
yeah, you look at that then, and it's like, well, yeah, they've had the same thing happen. They had 3 games that were going to come out the first half of this year, ideally, have all been pushed now to the second half of the year, and it's going to end up like last year where we had Forza, Flight Sim, Halo, and a few other big games all come out within a few weeks of each other. So
yeah, there's a Forza because of Forza Motorsports. I wouldn't have been interested had Forza Horizon not been absolutely awesome. Because I'm not, we spoke about before. I'm not really a racing game person, but Forza's different. But yeah, now this one is going to be only on the new gen, so it's not. I don't know if they do really get held back if you're on the old one because the 5 position they just downgrade qualities. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see how good that one looks. Being that Forza 5 looks fucking amazing, Horizon 5.
Yeah, I bought the Forza Horizon 5 one where you get all the extra car packs and the DLC. So I'm waiting for the DLCs. I still haven't finished the campaign on it. But I log in regularly just to do some races and get the cars. You know, they release a new one every week as part of the car pack. So yeah, just my garage on there is ridiculous of cars I've just done up.
Legitimately tempted to buy the package like that, even though, as I say, I've never been a car person because that game really was just so good.
Yeah.
I loved the fact that it's very happily to hand out the spin in the wheels. Except I feel like now every time I get one, I just end up with a freaking emoji or whatever it's called. Like I rarely get a car now.
So a couple of chats to catch up on. Fimber, Song of Iron Dev wanted a Game Pass deal as well. Don't know if he managed to sign it yet. I know he wanted to get it on there initially, but I don't think that's happened. He's announced he's starting work on a new game recently as well. He took a poll saying, do people want to see it in progress or do they want to wait till it's ready to show a trailer? And everyone said, trailer, please. So he's like, oh, okay, I wasn't expecting that. I'll hold off until I've got a trailer ready. And Muppet is very knackered and he's off to bust a nut. So night. So good night, Muppet. I'll try not to think of that now as I fall asleep. We're going to go as well. We've hit that 11 p.m. mark, this is a shorter show. It's only 1 hour of us chatting. I think it's gone quite quick as well. So Callie, if you want to let everyone know where they can find you.
Yeah, my virtual background's gone, so it's not as obvious. So you'll find us at robot-republic.com. Search in also Robot Republic Network for podcasts. We've got my one, which is the Untitled Gaming Podcast, which I'd love more people to tune into. We did a really good episode last week, and I want to hear what people think. So it just felt so good to record. And then there's a load of other stuff on the network: horror, nerd stuff, wrestling. And yeah, check out our YouTube as well. We're desperate to get some more subs on there. Just search for Robot Republic after the word YouTube, and we have a TTRPG of the Open Assails coming out Sunday. We've got a load of How Not to Plays recorded and banked up. Riku was streaming Pokemon earlier, the new one, and that's every Thursday. Various games, but yeah, at the moment it's Pokemon. And what else we got? Riku was in the chat. He'll tell you. But yeah, check us out.
I think you need to get Ash or Redders on your WWE one, because when I joined Tuesday's show, in like, obviously, for people who don't stream won't know, on StreamYard you have like a pre-lobby, so we're sat here chatting and things, and it's got a countdown to when it starts, and they were just chatting away about wrestling and who's re-signed and who's coming back and stuff, and I was like, I haven't watched wrestling in so long, and I like, yeah,
means
they were so excited.
Well, yeah. Yeah, no, reach out. It's Recharge Wrestling. They do have their own Twitter as well, so just at Recharge Wrestle. I'm sure they'll be happy to have you come chat games, or games, not games. I'm games. Wrestling.
Real wrestling. But yeah, thanks for everyone in chat. We've had a lot of people join us throughout the show tonight, so I'll go back to the start. We had Boba Fett, Bimba, Muppet, Redders, Riku, is it you said?
Riku, yeah, he's our.
Yeah, I'm not gonna try.
He does a lot of our. The other thing we have on YouTube, which is dev chat, so chatbot interviews with game developers. We've just had a really big one that's done quite well, and we've got a massive one coming out next month. So yeah, have a look.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining me again. It'll probably be same time next week. Let's see how work goes, because last few weeks have been manic, which is why I've got no reviews up on my channel. And the last comment I had was of a guy going, "This is amazing. Keep the videos coming." I feel bad whenever I get those, because then I don't post anything for 2-3 weeks where work gets in the way. But I've got 3 or 4 games that I've finished, and I need to just put the video together for them. So maybe this week that'll happen. Probably not, knowing me. But in the future, I will review and I will tell people about how good Summertime Madness is and Crossfire X campaign. But
I look forward to watching that, or not, if it doesn't happen.
Yeah, Crossfire X, you'll see me complain about the sluggish diagonal, I'm sure. Right. Take care all.
That's how for now.